Greetings Dapplings and welcome to a new first taste for the channel, where today we're going to be checking out Tower Tactics Liberation, an early access game by AsraWorks. If you've ever found yourself wondering what you'd end up with if you mixed Faster Than Light with Slay the Spire, then this video will hopefully go a long way to answering that question. At its core, Tower Tactics Liberation is a roguelite tower defense game with strong deck building mechanics linking a series of ever more difficult battles that ultimately lead up to a grand boss fight. Pretty familiar to some of you, I'm sure, but there are enough interesting twists on the tried and true formulas to keep things feeling fresh and engaging. The game is currently available for around £10 on Steam, converted into your local currency as necessary, and I've had a little bit of time to acquaint myself with the mechanics, so as always, it's easier to show than to describe, so let's go ahead and dive straight in. Okay then, now, there is, of course, meta progress in this game. Most roguelites have some degree of meta progression, and this is part of it, though as you can see, there's still elements to this that I haven't yet unlocked. One of the chief elements that you will be unlocking, though, as you make meta progression through every run and then acquire the meta progress currency, is you will unlock new starting decks. Now, the interesting thing with starting decks is, realistically, as you play, your starting deck will change enormously. You might start off with cards like the Wandering Colossus deck here with Ruthless End, Life Absorber, Static Ionizer, and Freezing Fog, but very quickly you will acquire new cards and you might change the entire composition and feel of the deck. So, to a certain degree, these are just some added flavor to start off with. Most of them actually recommend that this is not a deck that you could run the entire game through. Many of these decks are just kind of a guideline and a nudge in a certain direction, but some of them are just straight up just randomness, and I love that about them. The other thing that you'll be unlocking is a rune slot. As you progress, you'll unlock more rune slots, and you can even create more with some of the meta progression currency. And as you can see over here, the stats will change. Now, the deck itself will change some of the stats as well, so do bear that in mind. But with regards to this, as we're going to, this is going to be effectively the first time I showcase on the channel, we can either go with Leaving Legacy or just throw caution to the wind and court chaos. And I'm kind of in a chaos mood right now, so we're going to go with Ever Changing. We're just going to have 12 random cards. There'll be no rhyme or reason to what this deck is like. So let's go ahead and jump in and see how all of this goes. Alright, the first Salkoth have arrived in our sector. Our quest for liberation is just about to begin. However, first we have to decide upon how we are going to prepare. Now, I really quite like this little tip down here. There's a little bit of, what is luck? Luck improves events and increases the power of some towers, the frequency of critical hits, the probability of getting relics in normal combat, and the appearance of rare relics. Because, like, no one knew what luck did for a while. We've started off with the artifact, the War Totem, or rather the trinket, the War Totem. After getting the first level 3 tower each combat, summon a random tower. Okay, that's quite nice. Now, our starting options, we can add a card to our deck, get a random card, but also remove a card in our deck, which would be an interesting one. Gain 3 luck, as aforementioned there, or 50 crystals and gain 3 max health. In terms of our luck, we've already got 4 luck, but I really do value luck as a general stat. These are, oh wow, we've got a really eclectic selection of cards here. Some cards synergize particularly strongly with others, but this is just a massive hodgepodge. I like it mostly. The Riftmaker is a nice card. It basically teleports enemies back. Ruthless End is one of my favorite cards, actually. So this tower does damage over time. Only a tiny bit, but the beautiful thing about this is if you can get one of these towers down very early on, you don't need a way to deal with cloaked enemies, because cloaked enemies are only cloaked until they take damage, and this damages everything. Care package, summon a random non-basic tower. That's actually not a bad little card there, and it'll synergize well if we can get a certain type of tower later on. But this is an interesting one. A decent amount of 1 costs, not very many high costs. In fact, only 2 3s, and none more than that. So that's actually a reasonable start. Let's go ahead and gain some luck then. I think that one's going to be a better one. Critical strike chance is 2.33. Only time will tell if we have made the right decision. Now it's us against them. Okay, now anyone who's played Slay the Spire will be very familiar with the idea of elite combat, and anyone who's played FTL will be relatively familiar with the idea of plotting a course through a sector. Ultimately, each sector ends with a boss. That is a big boss. Excuse me, as apparently I'm allergic to bosses and needed to sneeze. We've got shops, you've got rest sites. These are very similar to the rest sites in Slay the Spire. And we've got elites. Elites give you trinkets. Now, in a way, this is very similar to Slay the Spire, but also to Risk of Rain. I happened to be that sort of person who was like, I don't care if the end of the game gets almost impossibly difficult. I'm going to farm this area of elites and become a god. And it worked about 10% of the time. Right, so this elite, it's always worth trying to hit the most nodes that you can. You'll notice that some of them are one way. I can go from this elite to this event, but I can't go from this event to this elite, so it is always worth having a quick look around. Try and hit as many of the tiles as you possibly can. I would miss that rest site. In fact, the only way to get to that rest site is from this event. I don't really care too much about the rest site, so I'm probably going to favor this direction. Try and hit as many enemies as I can, because that'll give me a little bit of crystal, a little bit of a spare card as well, if I want it. But the elites are the important ones. But we're going to hit this event first just to try and eke out the most we can in the sector. Your sensors detect material-rich asteroids near you. If we were to mine them, we could get valuable crystals, but we risk being ambushed. There's a 4% chance of commencing a much harder than usual elite fight and losing 2 health. Yes. Also, yes. And yes, we only got to 12. Wow, okay. I'm used to that getting a little bit better. I usually start to think, maybe I should stop around the 24%. But no, okay, fair enough. Right, okay, so we've got 3 base mana to spend. This is an elite fight where the enemies will be 5% faster and will have 10 magic resistance. That's worth noting. We can use the cremator here. Slowly burns enemies, slowing them and inflicting grievous wounds in the process. We've got a spell here, Decimate the Weak. Destroys level 1 enemies, restoring 1 life for each enemy destroyed this way. That's actually quite a nice card, though it will very quickly become obsolete, as we won't be seeing very many level 1 enemies. Alright, well, I think we'll pop down a cremator here. Now, one of the things to notice is the highlighted tiles here. We can only place towers on the tiles. Anyone who's familiar with tower defense games is probably very familiar with that mechanic. But these ones are specialist tiles. They enhance the stats of a tower placed on them. So you'll notice that this got a little bit more larger range there when we placed it down. Also, we got a little bit faster at firing. We also want a Rift Maker, and since realistically it doesn't really matter if we put them back over here, because they'll only just be within range of this. If I cause them to teleport back the moment they're within range of this tower, then this tower won't get much time to hit them. So I'm going to put this one a little bit further up, so this one can... Well, actually, we're even going to go as far as to move this tower all the way down there. Now, it's going to miss out on the range upgrade and the firing rate upgrade, but it will give the cremator time to actually do some cremating. Right, now, one of the things that I tend to play on is very high speed. So let me dial that back. It's not usually as frantic early on, and in fact, there we go. Nice teleport back there, fantastic. I've got that spell in reserve should I need it. Now, you can set the game speed from 0 all the way up to ×3. Leaving it on ×1 is fine. We can see the damage dealt there, a little readout just to let us know how well our towers are doing. We've got a sniper here, can target cloaked enemies, attacks from a long range. Gets much stronger than other towers when leveling up. We can't afford either of these because we only have 2 mana. Now, we've also got spell mana. That's kind of an edge case. I can use that only on spells, but it's kind of a special reserve. Now, it doesn't normally regenerate within a combat, but there are ways of doing that. But that means that, for example, I could place down a tower that costs 1 mana and still play this care package, but not the other way around, as I believe this will take from the main mana pool first. I'll have to science that one for you, though. But for now, we are generating 1 mana per turn. We'll earn 2 mana per turn, but if we can reach the overload state, which is where we've got 4 mana in the bank, we will gain an extra 1 mana, up to a maximum of just 1 extra. Certain decks and certain stats can increase that, so an overload can allow you to get more and more and more mana with each turn. So sometimes it can be worth banking mana rather than spending it. But we're going to go with a shotgun. Shoots multiple pellets that pierce through armor. Very well, and that's all we're going to spend on. There we go. Now, it'll automatically fast forward until something of note is happening. Actually, a really, really nice quality of life enhancement there. Now, typically I would be playing this on a much higher speed, but for the sake of actually demonstrating what's going on in the game, for anyone who's not familiar, we will be playing it on 1x speed, at least for the first couple of battles, at the very least. Right, time for my favorite, the Ruthless End. Let's play you. Now, it has a attack time of 0.96, and every time it does that, every enemy on the field will take 1 damage. It is completely the entire field. There is no range limit to this. It has a certain amount of penetration as well there, so some enemies will take more than others. Do we want to place down an archer? I certainly don't see a reason not to. Asuna, activate all deactivated towers in an area and draw 1 more card next turn. Don't actually need that yet. I doubt we're going to have an enemy that can deactivate any towers. This one can regenerate 1% max health of per second of nearby enemies. So it's actually kind of an annoying one, that one. But since we don't have any enemies on the field that would cause any disabling of towers, because some of them do when they die, I'll play that spell anyway just to get the extra draw there. Now we've got Decimate the Weak in our hand. Now, from what I understand, these cards aren't consumed when you play them. They just go back into the pool. There are some that will be taken out of your hand for the rest of combat if you play them, but by and large, most of them just go back into the pool, so every draw is, to some degree, a bit random. Giant's Bane. Every 3rd shot deals a percentage of the enemy's total health as true damage. I will certainly accept that. Now, if you look at the top left stat, that's your raw damage, and the type of damage is indicated by the icon. So this is I think basically physical damage, but this is magical damage, so very much worth bearing in mind. Now I do want to restore some health, so let's try and hit a couple of you at once. Pop, dunk, there we are. Fully healed up. Another Ruthless End. Very nice. Okay, so what you may have noticed down the bottom there, but towards the bottom left, it says 2 of 9. You'll also notice when you hover over a tower, it has a little star up in the top. When you have 3 of the same type of tower in the field, they will automatically, you cannot choose not to do this, so bear that in mind sometimes, it can actually work against you. They'll automatically merge into the next level of that tower. Typically, they will do so and you won't lose any damage. So, for example, 3 of these will merge into a level 2 tower, which will do 3 damage per second. And then 3 level 2 towers will merge into a level 3 tower. That's the whole 2 of 9. 9 of them gives you the max level tower. It only goes up as high as 3. Sometimes it's not wise to merge them, though. Do bear that in mind. We could go ahead and summon a tower there. I should have done that out of combat, because once you're in combat you can't actually move towers around, but this is fine for now. I'll just pop that one up there so it's a little bit closer. This one actually runs off spells. Oh, well, rather, it gets stronger the more spells have been cast, up to 100 spells. This is one of the things I really like about this game, is that all the towers feel different. I really, really appreciate that. There's lots of little things that happen, and quite a lot of the enemies have little tricks to them. Moves faster the lower its health is. Is that all of them? Yes, it is. So we're going to cast that, and we'll draw an extra card on the next round. We're of 6 of 10. Generally, this only goes up when you're fighting bosses or actual elite fights. But here we go. We can merge Ruthless End this time into a new tower, and there we are. We've now got the level 2 Ruthless End. You can see that it has a attack speed of 1.3. Does 3 damage. I didn't actually pay close enough attention to the armor penetration, the top right stat there, or rather the magic penetration, but I suspect it didn't change. I've got a feeling that number didn't change. Nevertheless, this is now those 3 towers as one. Are we going to play anything else? No, probably not. Now, that spell mana that we had is not going to be coming back to us. While it's alive, disables a random tower, receives triple damage from spells. Very interesting. Okay, I'll pop that down. It didn't do anything, you notice, because it was a 3-star a 3-star enemy, and that spell will only hit level 1 enemies. There are other versions of that spell that can attack much stronger enemies, by the way. You go with another shotgun. Could go with a purifier. This one has a much more pronounced growth of its stats based on level up. But here I think we're going to go with the humble shotgun tower. And I think that will be perfect there. Now, you'll notice that because we've got a Ruthless End, there's never a time where no damage is being done, so they will never speed up. So I'm going to increase the speed now to level 2, or rather 2 times speed. Hopefully you can still follow along, though we probably won't go all the way up to 3 times speed, because at that point you're really coming down to just knowing what's happening, kind of having an ability to predict what's actually going on rather than being able to follow it with your eyes, sort of thing. We've now got a level 2 Cremator. Very nice indeed. And we could pop down another archer as well, and we can level that one up as well. Beautiful. All right, let's have a look. Shield Wall, Vanguard, none of them disable towers, so we'll just go ahead and use that spell now. Otherwise, I would have waited just to see if they did disable a tower. Now, just because we've got this doesn't mean that we can't put down level 1s, and in fact, that's how we get a level 3s. We need to make 3 level 2s, and then they'll all merge. I'm sure many of you have played merge games and are quite familiar with the particular mechanic. Right, yeah, all of these move faster the lower their health get. That's fine. Thankfully, we're causing burn damage, so they were getting slower as they go. A sharp hook. All towers have an additional 4% critical hit chance. That is amazing. I approve. And some crystals there. I generally will always go for elite fights where I can, because I like having a massive list of trinkets. Now, do I want a new card? I could have another Decimate the Weak. A Ponder. The Dispel card here. This is actually an example of a card that you can only play once during combat. Then it goes in kind of your discard pile and doesn't come back out until the combat is over. Last Hope. Restore 4 health during the rest of the combat. Ignore all enemy resistances. Martyr. Costs 1 less for each health damage taken this combat. I don't really want to grab this one. This is basically a power for those familiar with Slay the Spire. These kind of have very large and far-reaching effect for that combat, but typically are a bit harder to play. For example, Avid Reading down here, draw 1 more card each round, but it costs 3 to play, so we never really played it. I feel that Ponder is not a bad one, because 3 extra cards for 1 spell mana, we can just play that the first chance we get in a combat, and it might actually give us a tactical advantage. Now, let's go ahead and take on this elite fight. The little shield there was indicating that it's going to be more of an elite fight in regards to armor. Though, that being said, the combat modifier here is only speed, so that's an interesting one. We could pop down a sniper tower. I can easily cast the Ponder here, and we'll use that up and see what we can get. Got a Purifier here. We've got a shotgun there. Purifier or shotgun. Now, in terms of looking at their stats, you can't actually see it in your hand, so you sometimes have to just open up the deck over here. So this sniper fires 0.36 is its fire speed. This is 1. It does 16, and this does 40. Of the 2, this one would be the much faster firing one, but realistically, this, as long as its range is high enough, and it has got an incredibly good range, it should be fine to last us through. So we're going to pop that one right about here. You can see the route the enemies are going to take, and they'll split up down there. This will be able to hit most of them, so it won't be an issue at all. Right, let's get into this. And already they're dead. Wow, I should have realized that we were only going to have 1 enemy at this level of the campaign, and I should have played it sooner. That was my bad there. Riftmaker or Ruthless End? I really want to play Ruthless End. We're going to play Ruthless End. But there is a strong case to have been made for Riftmaker instead. Oh well. There we are. Pop. Nice and indeed easy. Now, we could allow this to build up a little bit further. Archer or Cremator? I think we'll pop Cremator down though. just to add a little bit of burn. But I'm not going to spend any more, and on the next turn we'll actually be in overload territory. We'll go ahead and just play Asuna there. And there we are, pop. Now, if we weren't to play any mana, we will now generate 3 mana on the next turn. Do we really want to hold off, though? I am actually going to say no. No, we're going to play the Riftmaker. I would be very happy for our enemies to just be punted back a little bit. We're playing it over here for a very specific reason. Because this sniper is closer on this side, but doesn't have range over here, whereas it does have range there. This might be able to catch them, and just as they're about to leave the sniper's range, and pull them back into the sniper's range, giving us just a little bit more time to take them out. Let's have a look at you. Yeah, they're just healers. These are not going to be issues for us. And Riftmaker is already doing a good job there. Damn it, will I ever get to build that up? Because I am absolutely going to take an extra Ruthless End. That little bit of extra damage is just way too tempting. Way too tempting. There we are, doing a little bit more damage. We've got a Grievous Wound on it. It's also a little bit slowed. Does have magic protection, but a lot of armor. 180 armor on that. That was actually kind of nasty. Ooh, I might well be tempted for a second sniper. Or I could hold on and allow more mana to generate. I think we're going to hold off, and we're going to get to the next level. I'm going to just kill a bunch of you. Play Asuna. There we go. We'll easily be able to take them out. There we are. And now we're deep into overload. So at this point, I can spend 3 mana. I can spend 4 mana, actually, on a turn without having to worry about it. So I'm going to spend 3 mana right there. And then I'm going to spend 1 mana. And we're going to get a second Cremator. There we are. But on the next turn, and for all of the remaining turns, I will draw 1 extra card as well. Ooh. And that is the problem with enemies that stun towers when they go down. Half of our towers went out of commission there. And I won't say no to an upgraded Riftmaker. Certainly not. Asuna is here. I could summon a non-basic tower. Sure, why not? A Spike Thrower. Very high rate of fire with a low range and damage. Well, let's just see if you can reach out. Yeah, you can. That's fine. You've got a good range of damage. The enemy only have to just touch the highlighted area to be in range. So an enemy here would absolutely be in range. Maybe here, probably not. But this tile maybe, that tile definitely. They basically go right down the middle. There we are. And let's play this through. In fact, we might even be able to speed things up just a little bit without it getting too chaotic to follow. As I get an opportunity to explain more of the different types of enemies and show some of the core mechanics, we'll continue to speed things up as we go. Another Riftmaker might be an option now, or another Sniper. I strongly feel the other Sniper is the call on this one. In fact, we're going to move these around a little bit now. There we are. I think that's a bit of a better distribution. And we'll play that one. Why not? There we go. And the 2 snipers working in tandem are absolutely lethal. We could, at this stage, go for a shotgun, I guess. That wouldn't be a bad one. And an extra Ruthless End as well. We've run out of the high damage tiles, or rather the amplifying tiles. Let's call them amplifying tiles. So we're going to have to start just placing them around. But this is the final wave, and I'm not at all worried about what's going to happen. Though, some of them going down and disabling my towers isn't very nice, I'm going to be honest. But there was no way that we were really going to get through that. Loyal Companion. At the start of each combat, summon a random tower. I approve enormously. Thunder. Stun for 1.5 seconds is a 0-cost spell. Always nice to have some 0-cost spells. And deal 12% enemy max health as magic damage. Sweet Vengeance. Do 50 physical damage for each damage taken this combat. Martyr. Not big on that one, I'm going to be honest. Fireball. Deal 120 plus 20% of enemies missing health as magic damage. So that one could actually be very, very nice. But I think we're going to go with Thunder just because it's a 0-cost spell. And generally speaking, any tile you can get that's 0-cost, wow, we got a Riftmaker to start with. That is beautiful. Is well worth going for. We could pop down a purifier or a shotgun. I think it's going to be a purifier, though. Let's pop that purifier right there. We've got a couple of options. We can even have it over here without too much issue. But I would prefer it here because it will be within range of the Rift Maker. In fact, I'm going to move the Rift Maker over here so it'll punt things back well within this range. I've always got Thunder in reserve should I need it, but I doubt I will. We could get another Rift Maker just to, you know, really hammer home. But I think instead we're going to go for more arrows. There we are. And this should be pretty swift getting through there. And there we go. Ruthless End is in play. Now, Ruthless End does not need to be anywhere near the front line. Doesn't need to be anywhere near anything, really. It's a global effect. So I like to try and put it as far away from where I'm actually fighting as I can. Giant's Bane. Every third shot that deals piercing damage. Yes, let's get this in play. But since this is a nice long-range tower, let's actually have it a little bit further out as well. And at this point, I can afford to bring my Rift Maker a little bit closer, I think, because it'll keep it within Giant Bane's range. And we want things to be in range of Giant Bane for longer, so it has more of an opportunity to get that third shot in play. Decimate the Weak is available. Let's get Cremator, and again, because it's a nice ranged tower that can sit on this little island here without too much issue. Right, ooh, there we are. And the nice thing about Cremator is because it's a beam, it can hit multiple enemies at a time. Do we want to start building up our... Man, I kind of do, but let's see what we get. I'm not going to turn down a second one. I won't turn down a second one. Given that I've done... no, we will save mana. I don't think we need anything else. We've got Thunder in reserve just in case I need it. There we go. Now, Avid Reading would be very good to get very early on. So as much as we just got to the overload state, I am straight up going to use that. Now, have we got anything over here that I need to worry about? No, it doesn't look like it, so I'm just going to use it sooner so I can get an extra draw on the next round. And there we go. Level 2 Ruthless End. Well worth saving up for. However, at this point, I'm growing a little concerned that things are going to start punching through, so I'm going to have 2 of these separated by a bit of distance so that this one will be punching things back, but if this is on cooldown, then this one can pick up the slack a little bit. Now, enemies will gradually become more resistant to crowd control abilities, whether it be slowing them down or teleporting them, that sort of stuff. There are towers that can make that can reduce their resistance to things, but the more you slow something down, you can eventually completely freeze it in place. But the more times you apply an effect to something, the more immune it becomes to that effect. So whilst you can freeze a tower, an enemy completely, after a few seconds, it'll just suddenly go back to completely full speed because it will have reached that kind of threshold of immunity. The stat, I believe, is kind of a hidden stat on enemies, and it's called tenacity. That can definitely catch you off guard, so I would recommend bearing in mind that just because it is slow right now does not mean it's always going to stay that way. There we go. We'll get a little bit more damage potential over here where the towers are, the enemy are going to generally congregate. At this stage, we've got 2 spells here just in the waiting, so I'm going to allow this turn to pass. I may just drop that down there to stun them in place, and then play as soon as well. Play soon. Ah, I was too slow. Silly me. Tempting, but no. I would like to continue to build up here, and if I can grab you about there we go. Come on, pull them back. Oh, I think you're going to get out. Oh, thank goodness you actually pulled that off a little bit. And each time that's happening, gave Ruthless End enough time to kill it off. I am actually always a little bit more satisfied with that, clutch finish than just waltzing through a level. I don't know why. Snowman, start the combat with 1 extra spell mana. Gain 1 luck. Very nice indeed. Always like luck. We're up to, we were almost 6.66. Crit strike, but just a little bit more than that. Impact Sprayer. Shoots inaccurate bullets that deal more damage the healthier the enemies are. Signed in Blood, draw 5 cards but lose 1 life. At the start of your next turn, draw cards until your hand is full. Martyr. I think the Impact Spray would actually be a nice card. Sure, let's pick that one up. Now, at this point, I don't really care to go to the rest site. I think the best route would be this event, then move up and clear up through the enemies, grab that shop, grab those 2 enemies, and then on to the boss. So, let's make that happen. Rumor has it that the famous Star of Fortune is capable of transforming crystals into a more prosperous future. I can lose 80 crystals but gain 8 luck. That is absolutely something I will do. We're now almost at 10% critical strike chance. That is actually really, really nice. And we got a shotgun. Not bad at all. I will happily accept. In fact, I'm going to place it here, as we're going to have more opportunities to hit things more times by placing it there. I could go for avid reading and then rely on thunder to get us through. Yeah, sure. Let's get that early extra draw. And there we are. Get a sooner in there as well. So we're going to get 2 extra cards this turn. All right, not bad at all. Impact Sprayer. Purifier. Well, we can't get Purifier, but I can get another shotgun and I can get a Rift Maker. And of course I'm going to go for a Rift Maker, because this map was basically built for just trolling the enemy with a Rift Maker. My lord. There we go. And it's already been sent back because it's got such low resistance, such low tenacity, that very basic unit, that a teleport just sends it halfway back across the map. Let's bring in a Rift's End. Oh, sorry, Ruthless End, rather. Kind of merging the two. That would be an amazing mechanic. But this will basically mean that we don't have to worry about any cloaked enemies. As long as we can do damage, then that will be fine. I could use both of those spell manas, but I don't think we will. We'll pop that down and just see if we can get a nice level 1. And we can. A Cremator right there will be perfect. Alright, now, I'm feeling that we have covered most of the mechanics sufficiently that we can risk having the speed up a little bit more. We'll see how this goes. Impact Sprayer, sure. An Impact Sprayer in here is going to be able to hit most things moving through this quite some time. Anti-Mage. Doesn't have any particular abilities, but probably had a nice resistance to magic by the sounds of it. Purifier or another Rift End. Of course, it's going to be Rift End. I'm actually going to put these Rift Ends over here and out of the way a little bit. An Archer in there. We'll get plenty of time to make attacks. And you'll notice I'm not spending my time this time saving up mana. We're just throwing it down as quickly as we're able. I wouldn't mind getting a sniper, I'm not going to lie. But another Impact Spray. I'd like to see what a level 2 Impact Spray could do. Now, we've got a little bit of like melee damage here, but most of our damage... Well, actually, no, that's not true. We've also got the Archer over there. So I was a little bit concerned about the amount of focus into magic damage we had, but we have got a decent amount of melee damage as well. And there we go. We've got an Amethyst Gem. Towers remove 1 magic resistance when their shots hit. Wow. It's as if the game was listening to me. Now, what have we got over here? We've got a laser rifle, fires lasers that pierce through enemies, penetrating their magic resistance. Okay, that's got a very nice magic resistance there, to be fair. Or the Isochron bot. Gets stronger the more spells are cast this combat. I'm not sure we really want to go with that. And we definitely don't need another Rift Maker. We might not even need anything, but we do play a decent amount of spells. Well, not the super amount, to be fair, but sure, let's go with Isochron Bot. It's nice and cheap. Now we want to hop up, grab this enemy, and back down. Ooh. Okay, this is not even a tower that I can play. Vortex shoots stunning projectiles in all directions. As you can see, quite a mesmerizing pattern. Slow it down a little bit so you can appreciate it just a little bit more. Okay, we can pop down Rift Maker. This does basically no damage, just 1 damage, but mostly it's the stunning effect. And we'll pop a shotgun there. Oh, what a lovely little heart there. We'll probably end up doing this one with Thunder, I should imagine. Or not at all. Ah, drat. So close and yet so far. Let's grab Ponder there, and we're going to play Avid Reading straight away. This is going to give us all the extra draws, and right now these fights are very easy for us to get through, so it's not too much of a concern. Decimate the Weak, obviously, would be very nice to play, especially with Isochron Bot in play, but we're not going to have that just yet, so we'll place down a Ruthless End and a Cremator, I think, and then I will play this straight away just to start building up for potential Isochron Bots. You don't actually need the Isochron Bot in play for it to care. it will be tracking how many spells you've played this round, and then when you place an Isochron bot, it'll just get those level ups as appropriate. Let's pop you in. We've got a Thunder, may as well use it, given that... Actually, I should have stunned you closer to the damage, but oh well. We can get another Ruthless End and an Isochron bot in. Sure, I think so, yes. Let's get those on the go, and then in the next round, we will be wrapping this fight up. You know what? Sure, just for the lulz, we'll pop that in there. And Decimate the Weak. Wipe out a bunch of them. I might have actually wanted to wait for Vortex to cluster them together just naturally. Nova Chestplate. Enemies that would deal 1 damage to you deal 0 damage. That is quite interesting. Now, you haven't really seen damage being applied. Basically, the level of the enemy, so the star of the enemy, the star count the enemy has, much like our towers, it will do that much health damage if it gets to the end of the run. Now, the enemies can go above 3 stars. You can get very high level enemies. So that right there is actually crazy good in the first area where you're going to be seeing a decent amount of level 1 enemies. That's very quickly going to become obsolete, but it's kind of nice to have all the same. Backup plan. Draw cards until you have 3 cards in hand, and then Dispel. This card disappears until next combat. That's actually still not a bad card. Whether we would really need it or not, though, I don't know. But, We've also got a very high cost tower here, but the BF rifle deals a very high amount of damage at a high cost and stuns enemies. It's got decent armor penetration, does a lot of damage, to be fair. Slow fire rate, but the stun is nice. 1 second stun. We will take it, though it'll be a difficult one for us to get going. And the fact that we got a trinket there off this enemy, this is a basic enemy, and that is because of our high luck stat. And now you can probably see why I value luck so highly. Right, we've got a beam cannon. Gain 1 less mana each round, doesn't stack, stuns enemies. So sadly, this is going to be a very mana poor round for us. The fact that this doesn't stack, though, means that once you have played it, you can play them without worry. It's just the first one that'll reduce your mana, but that is actually going to hurt a little bit. I could go for Avid Reading, but honestly, there's a big part of me that just wants to save mana right now. I'm going to Dispel that one straight away, see if we can't get anything decent. A Cremator wouldn't be terrible. I'll place that one down as well. Let's go. Play Asuna straight away. Play that just because I can. It's a 0 cost spell, and if I then put down an Isochron bot, it will help. Riftmaker may be useful. Yeah, I'm going to pop a Riftmaker over. In fact, I'm actually going to pop it up here so that it doesn't accidentally catch the enemies before I'm ready for them to be caught. Actually, about there would be the better place. And since I have placed that, I will place down Isochron bot. Now we're going to have a very long build-up, and it's going to kind of suck a bit, I'm going to be honest. We will play in a Ruthless End. In terms of bang for buck, that is probably the best tower that we're going to get. Initially, you won't really see it reflected over here, just because it won't have long enough to do that sort of damage. But once you've got large waves, since it's going to be doing damage to all of them, the whole combat through, you will see it start to creep up there. We're obviously going to just pass this one, and tonk, and tonk. May as well just use that there. There we are. Another Ruthless End is a possibility, and I think we shall. And we're going to just play Asuna straight away. So we've got another draw. I don't really want to use anything up, but a shotgun would be quite nice. Yeah, it really would be quite nice. Let's swap these positions because the Cremator is a very nice long-range tower compared to all of the others that I have. But this will allow every one of these towers to fight there. Right, is there anything we want? Freezing Fog slows enemies for 3 seconds. Not really super into that. Air Support is an interesting one. At the beginning of each round, summon a random tower. If you can get up to the point where you can get that into play, that is definitely going to be well worth having. Now, we've got 166 crystals. I would like to visit the shop. You come across a spaceship workshop that can help you fix anything in exchange for a few crystals. Lose 20 crystals, restore 2 health, don't need it. Convert a random basic card into its non-basic version, or increase 1 random stat. Do I have any basic versions? If we have a look through, they will actually say basic. We don't have any basic versions, so that one is useless to us. We're about to visit a shop, though, but a random stat increase is always a nice thing. Let's see what we got. It looks like we gained a bit of tower range of an increase. Now, with only 126 crystals, there's a limit on what we're going to be able to get here, but towers gain 20 magic penetration is quite nice. If you have not taken any damage yet this combat, recharge 1 spell mana each turn. That would have been amazing. I regret my decisions. Tower attacks 10% faster if you have 4 health or less. We wouldn't have been going for that one anyway. Blizzard slows all enemies for 6 seconds. That's not too bad. I could remove a card from my deck. Do I want to do that? Is there a card that I don't really want in here anymore? I would say probably if I was going to drop one, it would be Purifier. Yeah, I'm going to remove a card, and we're going to drop Purifier out of the deck. Just condense it a little bit more. Okay, let's go and grab these 2 enemies over here. We've got an EMP Grenadier. Launches grenades that stun enemies. Very well, I will have you right about that. And since we have you, maybe an impact sprayer right down here will do a decent bit of damage against our enemies. There we are. Now, we've got a sniper here, and honestly, having this in play will just do stupid amounts of damage. I'm just going to keep that one there. We may as well thunder you now. There we are. Could have used Decimate the Weak, but no real reason to. Ponder would give us more spells, more cards, but I don't really think there's any reason to do it, because I'm trying to save up. Getting Avid Reading, again, I'm trying to save up. I will, however, place down a Ruthless End. I'll almost never turn down a Ruthless End. I'm going to be honest. There we go. It takes a while to build up, but once it's built up, it is crazy good. At this point, I'm a little bit concerned, but we're going to pass this one again, and if I fail, then that's on me. There we are. Grenadier and the Sniper together are absolutely just destroying. It's beautiful. Let's go ahead and play Avid Reader, and I'm going to play you as well, because if they, well, actually, we're on the 6th wave. Honestly, this game, it feels like each combat you're just getting into your stride by the time the combat's over. It's a little bit saddening sometimes. Guardian Angel, incredibly expensive. When played, restores 1 health. Martyr, no. Bullseye can target cloaked enemies, stuns from a long distance. Now this one is kind of nice. It's a bit like the Sniper, only with a much more aggressive stun. Blinding Light, though, all towers can now target cloaked enemies, and they move slower. Yes, absolutely yes. And we're immediately going to play Blinding Light, I should imagine. Yes, we are. Right, we've got a laser rifle in play. Do I want to play anything else? I guess. Sure, we'll place down an archer. These 2 will get an opportunity to attack everything, so it's fine. We don't really need to play anything else, so I'm going to hold on to this one, and I'm going to play Asuna. There we are. So close, and yet so very, very far. Right, Ruthless End, you can go right down the bottom. I could have played the BF rifle, but I am trying to preserve the mana right now, if I can, and where I can. A Sniper would be very, very welcome, though. But I'm going to go for a Giant's Bane instead. Let's get that into play. Now, of course, I could just move all these towers further up, and I might actually do that. Let's go ahead and move these ones up, just so that we get through the fights that we can easily get through that much sooner. I could play another Giant's Bane. Certainly not going to say no. Basically, I'm always trying to keep it at a point where I'm going to be able to have 7 at the end of it, because of that. And of course, next wave doesn't matter. The sadness. But there we go. We got an Isochron bot right at the end. Now, later on, you'll be having rounds that'll have like 25 or possibly even more combats that have 25 or more rounds. So eventually you will start getting use out of that. Ooh, Earthquake and Trick Room together. Deals damage and stuns enemies if they are slowed. If not, it slows them. That is very tempting. That is very tempting. It's an AoE tower, as you can probably already guess. Trick Room inflicts random effects to the enemies nearby. The strength of the effects scale with luck, and we've got quite a lot of luck. Actually, we're going to go with Trick Room, because it kind of builds into this. Right, it's time for us to face the boss. And we've started off with a ballista. It could have been better, I'm not going to lie, but okay. We haven't got a good selection here, but I am going to use Care Package. An inhibitor. A very nice choice. This will reduce... This is the tower that I was talking about, which will reduce their ability to resist stuns or teleports and such. Let's pop down a shotgun tower right there and a archer tower here. And I'm immediately going to drop that, just so that we can start lifting up our counter. We're going to get the Trick Room in play immediately. Sadly, you can't get Blinding Light. It would have been nice to get, but it is what it is. There we are. That pulse there was telling us that the actual pulse will give you an indication of what ability it's inflicting on the enemies, but the pulse, it lets you see when it's actually triggering as well. We're going to go for a Cremator down here. That is a cloaked enemy, and we cannot yet hurt cloaked enemy, but thankfully this did stop it, but sadly nothing that we can do. So pop, there we go. We just lost a little bit there. That was a shame, because we hadn't got the Ruthless End up and running. That yeah, bit of a problem. Had we been able to keep it within Trick Room's AoE or cast spells on it, that would have worked, but sadly not today. Let's move this up a little bit. Again, I kind of want it to be in the right sort of area. In fact, let's move this just over there. This way, they should have very low resistance to Riftmaker for quite some time. And since we're already doing this anyway, let's get Isochron Bot in play. And let's go for a hit there and a Asuna. There we are, we're up to 4 spells cast. Riftmaker, let's get you in. There we go, we are now immune to Cloak. There's no point in using this. Unless I got a 0 cost card, I wouldn't be able to do anything anyway. But there we are. This is one of the cloaked enemies, but we were immediately attacking it because it had already taken damage. I actually quite like this version of Cloak. In many games, Cloak is just Cloak. But in this one, well, they're just sneaking by. But the moment you clip them, well, they clearly aren't sneaking anymore. So I actually quite like that. We could get another shotgun, maybe. Blinding Light, though, let's play that one regardless. Yeah, we'll get a shotgun there, and we can build up to a second tier shotgun. This one will build up only to wave 15, but still, we're over halfway. Oh, well, coming up to halfway, we're almost there. Right, let's see. Do I want another Trick Room? Possibly, actually. Double the chance to get interesting effects in play. And let's get Asuna. Oh, that one actually hit them with the teleport its own. Slows, stuns, all sorts of wonderful and weird effects going off there. Marvelous. Now, let's get this in as well, because we're about to drop a couple of spells on our enemies. This one might do nothing. It did do nothing, because none of them are low enough level. But that's fine. It's still counted towards the total spells cast. And here we go. Let's get the Trick Room in. Boom. There we are. It's an upgraded one now, and this one can go up there. Perfect. Wonderful, in fact. I could play another Cremator. Sure, we'll pop one up there, just in case they get past. This Cremator can add a little bit more damage to them. There we are. And you'll notice that the stars will actually change the color of the enemies as well. It's quite cool. Sure, we'll get a Ruthless End, and then we will add in another Isochron Bot. And then move this Cremator down. I actually think that creates a quite nice effect there. Okay, 10 out of 50. Oh my lord, look at all the damage being applied. You'll notice that we are getting crits because occasionally we see 2 at a time. That isn't a merger. Both of them are just doing 1, and you'll see 1 pop twice from the same enemy, but one of them was getting crits every now and then, and that's actually a very, very nice indicator that our luck is properly playing into this. I think we're going to sit on this mana for now. Going to play that one. Again, it's not going to do anything, but I would like it in play. And pop. Damn it, they both... The Trick Room threw them back out of my range. Okay, we could go with Avid Reading, but I don't see much reason to. Instead, Sniper will be absolutely glorious up there, and then we can have some more Archer down here. May as well play it sooner fairly quickly. Yeah, that was basically dead before it even got there. But wow, that inhibitor effect with the Trick Room is going amazingly well for us. Absolutely amazingly well. Okay, we're going to grab this Archer Tower. I could have gone for the Giant's Bane, but upgrading there was... that's 2.95 attack speed. It's very, very nice. Very hard to beat. I mean, Giant Bane probably doing more damage overall, but... There we go. And wave at 14. Could get another Sniper if I really wanted to. And I say, why not? Sure. And... we're going to slow down the speed for the next wave, because that will be the boss wave, I believe. Now, what are we going to bring into play? Sure, let's buff up Ruthless End. And here we go. The EMP Bomb. On death, disables the 4 nearest towers for a brief period of time. High-level towers are less affected. And down there, we've got a runner. Everything is focusing on the EMP Bomb, but that's fine. Speed that up just slightly. Looks like we're going to be okay because the snipers are going to still be in play no matter what happened there. Right, obtain a trick kit. Now we can choose one because it was a boss. We get a heart catalyst. Increases the maximum overload by 1, but we lose 3 max health for it, so we go down to 12 max health. But when we had overload, so you also gain 1 mana for each 4 mana you have at the end of the round, so we would gain 2 if we had 8 mana. It isn't you'll gain 2 if you've got 4, it's that I can be an extra 4 over the limit and gain further bonuses. Joyful Rattle, and draw 1 more card each round, that's actually quite powerful, and reactivating towers costs 1 mana more. Though you haven't seen it, you can actually click on the towers to reactivate them if you want to. Also, Mana Flow Rings, recharge 1 spell mana each round. That is huge. That is particularly huge because we've got Snowman. We've got 2 maximum spell mana, so each round, this would recharge into that. That's just extra mana bank for us, so I really couldn't say no to that one, given that we've got Snowman. Sacred Punishment. Deal 30% missing health as true damage to an enemy as a 0-cost spell. The Railgun fires a giant laser that pierces through enemies, stunning them and dealing damage. Does a decent amount of damage too, but I think we're going to be going with Sacred Punishment there. And with that, we move on to the next sector. But sadly, that is going to be the end of this this first taste. I really do hope you've enjoyed. There are 3 sectors in the a normal campaign. It's basically the first and second sector have boss. It'll just be a random hard unit, really, that disproportionately powerful compared to the other units you fought. But the third sector has a named boss, and when you enter that sector, you'll actually see the name of that boss. And the named bosses have a specific gimmick to them. Once you've defeated once you've actually made it through a run, then that deck will unlock the ability to have an ascension. You may have noticed that when I was selecting decks at the beginning of the game, and that basically allows you to increase the difficulty and play with that deck again, and you increase the ascension level, so on and so forth. It's kind of a bit of an extra way of scoring yourself. Additionally, if you choose to, you can just kind of do a victory lap and just move straight into the ascension. but with all of the cards and upgrades that you have already unlocked, which is quite a potent ability. But that is going to be it from me from now. I really do hope you have enjoyed this first look into the game, and if you are interested in seeing a little bit more, then do let me know. We may see this be expanded as a series, a short series on the channel, perhaps just going through a full campaign run, just all the way to the last boss, or maybe we will even see it start to be streamed and uploaded over on Aavak After Hours. You can always find links to where I stream and to my VOD channel down in the description below, but that's going to be it from me. So until next time, and as always, do take care, everyone.